settle this for yourself today, because God is setting the stage for his glory to come forth in your life and in your family. But as we've seen from looking at the life of this family, you got to be willing to be a stagehand and not the star. I put up this picture for you because these are people who are preparing the stage. They're preparing the lights, they're preparing the equipment on the stage, all of that. But notice, the lights are shining on them now, but ain't nobody there to see it. Ain't nobody there to see them go through all this process of setting up all of this stuff. Ain't no people in them seats. Seats are all empty. But the lights are on, but there's nobody there. Why? Because this is before the stars and the performers get there. So our question, just answer, and only you can answer this for yourself in this final moment. So ask yourself, am I willing to be like Zacharias and Elizabeth? Can you remain faithful to God in what seems like the mundane and the routine and the same old thing, day after day, week after week, month after month? Can you just be faithful, even though your greatest desire is going unfulfilled right now? Can we be like this couple and just, okay, Lord, I'm gonna stay faithful. I'm not gonna quit. When it's back to Zacharias' time to be on duty, I ain't going in this week. I ain't cutting up no animals. I ain't burning no more incense. I ain't blasting no more trumpets until give me a baby. Nope. Right there, each time his week came to be on duty with the rest of the priests, he was right there. But at the same time, will you believe God when he sends his promise? I have to be careful of that myself. It's too good to be true. God, are you kidding? God gives you a word and his promise, and it's what you've been waiting for so long. Do you know that God can actually present to you his purpose, his destiny, his will for your life, and you can totally ignore it because of how bad things have been for so long? You can actually totally ignore it. I did it with my wife. When we first met in college, I was introduced to Carol Dennis, and I was like, She said, you gonna speak? I'm like, all right. No, the relationship did not get off to a good start. But I didn't know I was being introduced to God's will for my life. I was still basing this introduction, it's just like any other introduction. Some black girl looking at me, looking at her, looking at me. I'm going by all the girls I'd ever known in high school up until that point. I was going by even words that had been spoken about me. I remember I walked out of school one day and these two girls were sitting out on the steps, and one said to another, boy, this school sure ain't got no nice looking guys. So I'm going by that view. So I'm introduced to this beautiful girl. So of course, beautiful, pretty girl ain't gonna be interested in me. Mm-hmm. And so I was that type of person. That was so different. I keep telling y'all how different I was. So you probably wouldn't have liked me as a teenager either. I was quite blatant. She can tell you. She was like, oh, you gonna speak? She never run into no guy just gonna diss me and just writing. It was like a formal introduction. It was like, Chris, this is Carol. And I was like, hi. Why? I'm going based upon my life's experience up until that moment, and almost tossed away and threw away what God had in his plan for my life. All the way up until this very moment. Just think about that, y'all. We wouldn't be sitting here right now. So will you believe God when he presents his promise to you? The next one, can you hide yourself and wait for that promise to come forth? Just do like Elizabeth. She's pregnant, The Bible says she hid herself. She didn't announce it. She didn't tell everybody. Just think about it. She didn't tell everybody what God is doing in her life. She didn't tell, this is the promise I've been waiting for all these years. The Bible says she hid herself. She did not give the enemy an opportunity to attack this wonderful thing that God was doing. She hid herself. I believe that part of what has happened here in Harrisburg is a lot of ministries, because I understand before I got here, there were tons of ministries that have tried to start in this city, and they've caved in and fallen after a couple of years. I believe that this is part of the reason why. You can't announce and pronounce everything that God is doing in your church and in your ministry and in your midst. You're still a baby. Not even a baby. You ain't even been born yet. God's still forming that ministry. So don't be telling the enemy, announcing it to the world. But see, we live in America, and in America, you always supposed to announce. See the difference between American culture and the ways of God? American culture says if you want to be known, make yourself known. If you want to grow, advertise. But here in the things of God, he says, hide. And after it comes forth, then you see, after it came forth, then neighbors, friends are all in it. Everybody's in. So can we just wait the process? I realize that that's the process God was taking us through. No matter how much I try to push and go past the process and push it faster, I didn't want it to be 10 years. But here we are, 10 years. I didn't want it to be 10 years. Maybe a year or so. Actually, a few months. We came, Mom can tell you, we came and hit the ground running. Speaking in different churches around the city, telling them all about God has sent us here and all that we was going to do, putting out the vision to everybody. I was just, woo, Lord, telling everybody all our business, because I thought, let me be upfront so that no other pastors will feel like I'm trying to take over their territory. So I'm just out telling everything. Here's all of our vision. Here's all our strategy. Here's all the things that we want to do. And the enemy came, vultures, man, demons, man. So God made us start all over again, and kept us hidden. So we was meeting in our house and meeting at the hotel. Then he brought us into this building and still hidden. And just when we ready to quit, then he says, okay, now. He sends the right people, because you had to come. Each one of you had to come with the right people at the right time, the right place. He busts open the doors and puts us in our own space, and then he says, now. We couldn't have done what we're doing now a year ago. Just think about it. We couldn't have done it a year ago. Right time, right place, right people.